I've been self-employed a long time. Well, quite a while anyways. 2005. How long is that? What is it now? 2024. 19 years. I stopped in the middle for a couple of years and went to work for a shop, but then I decided that I was just making somebody else more money, so I might as well come back here and get back to being self-employed again, because I was self-employed before that. I didn't, when I did it, started it being self-employed, started my own business, I didn't actually have a big plan, have a big game plan, have everything else to do it. I was going to work into it slowly, being a body man, as you can see. I got a cold too. I got a little granddaughter and she runs around and she only spends a few days without having snot on her lip and coughing all over the place. So now it's my turn. She's handing it down to me. Instead of me handing her down stuff, she's handing stuff down to me. Anyways, I didn't start into this as slow as I had planned because I was working in the shop and decided I was going to look at this, working in my own building here in the future. Wasn't my game plan at the time. But when my boss got wind of that I was thinking of doing that, well, he decided it was a conflict of interest and blah, blah, blah. I lost my job that day. So rather than go find another job, I figured I'll forge ahead and try to do this. So, having said that, I did it with very little planning, very little preparation. I had a building to work in here, and I have a trade. I've been doing this for 30, I don't even know, entirely too long. 35 years, 37 years I've been doing this shit. So, anyways, my point, what is my point? My point, it's if I can do it, because I mean, I'm not Albert Einstein, and I'm certainly no Don Johnson over here. So if I can do it and make it work for this long, why the hell can't you? Why can't you? I guess some of the first advice I would give is if you do have an avenue to do it, if you got whatever you got a trade, you got something to sell, you got some personality, you got some fancy toenails. You mean, I don't know what you're going to do. Maybe you got good eyelashes. Whatever you're going to do, I don't know. Don't expect to become a millionaire in the first week that you're doing it. I mean, this is what I do. And I mean, all this is, for me to do this and be self-employed, what I've done is created myself a job. I guess that's better than going out and looking for a job. And I'm not making somebody else money, because as an employee, that's what you do, is you make somebody else money. So if you want to be self-employed, the reason you want to be self-employed is because you want to make your own self money instead of somebody else. So go ahead and do it. I mean, shit. That's what I mean. If you want to make money, that's the only way to do it. There's two ways to get money. You can either steal it or you can earn it. So you're going to have to work if you want to be self-employed. That's the bottom line. If you want money, you got to work for it. But you're working for yourself, right? You're not working to make somebody else money. You're not working so that the dude that owns or rents the building where you drive to every day can drive there in a fancier car tomorrow than he did today. You're going in and you're working so maybe tonight, instead of having a shitty steak, you can have a little bit nicer steak for supper. That's what you're working towards. And like I said, if I can do it, I mean, I think anybody can do it. You're going to have to get used to asking people for money. Because, I mean, basically, that's the bottom line to what I do. I do a bunch of work. I do some work for some repetitive people. You know, like I've done a few cars for one guy and whatever. There's a couple of people that I've done more than one job for over the years. And they're good as far as putting money in my pocket goes. But not everybody is. And there is a lot of times over the years, and with a lot of different customers, that at some point you have to say to them, we've reached this plateau in the job, it's time to give me some money. And that's easier for some people to do than others. It's a way better, it's a way nicer when somebody comes in and says, oh, here, let me give you some money towards this, or do you need any money? Like, do you need some money to keep on going? That's awesome to people that do that. Not everybody does that. And in order for you to keep some cash flow going, you're probably going to have to figure out a way to be able to just say to people, Time to pony up a little bit. Time to pad my pocket. Time to lay some cabbage on me. Or whatever. Cabbage? Is it cabbage? Yeah, sure. Lay me some cabbage, would you? You can probably work towards your own schedule. I mean, as long as you can do that, and it's not something that you got to do during business hours, because I mean, a lot of things, face it, the whole world rotates from 8 to 5, and Monday to Friday. You can thank Henry Ford for that. Did you know that? Henry Ford come up with a 40-hour work week, Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, building the old, what were the first ones? When did he do that? Model Ts, you know, whatever, back in the 1900s. Henry Ford come up with a work day. Thanks, buddy. I got some work to do there now. So you're not going to necessarily be pinned down. Yeah, I mean, you got some freedom to be able to facilitate life. I am married, and my wife has a couple of adult children, and you know what? Sometimes the shit just happens that it's stay here now. That it's I'm able to drop what I'm doing and go and help with something. Go and change a flat tire on the side of the highway at 2 o'clock in the afternoon if need be, or go and pick something up, go and help with something, go and just basically go. You can get up and you can go, and then you can come back and then you can go back to work again. Whereas if somebody's watching you, if you're punching a clock somewhere, you can't do that. But if you work for yourself, you can go and do that. So that's pretty cool. That's handy. That's dandy. Who doesn't like that kind of stuff? If you can start your own gig, well, it affords you to be able to kind of pick and choose more or less what you're doing. Maybe not right off the bat, but down the road as you get going. You don't always got to do something that you don't want to do. If you're working for somebody, well, you got to do what they tell you to do, right? Because you're working for them. If you work for yourself, well, I mean, you might have to do whatever somebody tells you to do, maybe if that's your corner of the gig. But like in what I do here, if somebody phones me up and if they got something that needs to be done, but I don't necessarily want to do it, well, I don't have to do it. I mean, if I got nothing else to do, I kind of got to do it because you got to work. But if I got work on the floor here, so if somebody phones me up and they want me to work on their 1962 Porsche something or other, or something that I don't want to do. There's lots of cars that I don't want to work on. I don't gotta. So that's nice. That's a benefit to it, that's for sure. If you got a job that is you're gainfully employed right now and you want to try being self-employed, you can most likely go back to your job. Maybe you can't go back to the job that you currently have, but you can go back to that place and do the same thing that you're doing now. So really, if it doesn't work for you, you might only be out a year of your life, 9 months of your life, 18 months of your life. The amount of time that it takes you to find out that I'm going to try this and it's either going to work for me. And be honest with yourself, and if it ain't the gig, then cut her loose, cut it out. I stopped doing this for a couple of years because I was tired of doing it. And I got to the point of where I decided, I don't even want to do it anymore. It's just kind of browning me off and I'm just not. So I finished the work that I had here and I got a job in town and I went to work in a shop in town for a couple of years. Then after doing that for a while, it got to be, and as I said before, you're going in every day and you're working and you're making somebody money. So then I got to thinking, and I was working more and more overtime, a couple hours in the evenings, going in on a weekend, whatever. And I was making more money, but again, I was just, the boss is buying a nicer truck, or whatever. And I got to thinking, you know what, for the hours that I'm putting in, I live on an acreage in the country, so I had to drive into work. I got to thinking, for the hours that I'm putting in and I'm driving in here and spending this much time here, I still have everything at home to work. And if I worked this hard at home, I would make a hell of a lot more money than I am working this hard for you. So I quit and I came back home. The unfortunate part is that I don't work that hard at home. Not as hard as I work there. If I did, I'd make a lot more money. What I'm meaning to say is it's not always the case if you can't go back, because chances are pretty good. You can probably go back. I could go back. I did go back. And I could go back again. But I don't want to. If you want to be self-employed, you can take as long of a potty break as you want. You can take your phone into the toilet with you and you can sit there until your battery goes dead. Did you ever think of that? I would say let her rip, Tater Chip. go for it. I know a guy that hasn't had a job in probably over 40 years it's been since he's had a job. And he has tried, I'll bet you, he has tried 25 different things in that time. Startup businesses. Some of them have turned into a little bit of something and he sold them. Other times, he's just recognized that the ship's sinking and it's time to bail, time to jump, time to get in the life raft and twiddle on to something else. And I mean, the dude he probably lives a better life mentally and his attitude and stuff than anybody else I know. And like I said, he has no real discernible anything. He just keeps trying stuff and throwing stuff up and seeing if it sticks. He started a business a few years ago that actually did take off, and he sold it and made some money on it. So now he's not as pressured, but I mean, he's still floating around and doing stuff. So, I mean, a lot of it just all depends on how hard you want to push. If it's something that you got to sell and push, then you got to push. But if it's something that kind of comes to you, well, I mean, you don't got to look for it. Like, I don't really got to look for it with what I do because it's a service that has to, that people need. So they seek you out. There's not 1,000 people where I live, where I'm at, that do this kind of stuff. So to seek somebody out to do it, the list isn't really long. So at some point, a lot of people that I've never met, never heard of, never seen before, they wind up with my number, and that's the way it goes. It kind of gets to be one after another. So that's what you need. I did it, I've done it, and I'm doing it. So can you.